I kept it to myself. It's not about the pink toy tucked away beneath my bed, nor is it about how I can't drift off to sleep without feeling its vibrations against me. I'm Sloane, and this is the fixation that lingers with me. It's not substances or intoxicants, but something far more intimate. A presence I require each evening, akin to a ritual, akin to the act of breathing. I truly appreciate my wonderful subscribers for staying engaged with the gripping tales of Ella's infidelity. You all are incredibly important to me. Now let's plunge straight into the essence of the narrative. It all began when I was at 18, a period brimming with curiosity and solitude. I silently yearned for something I couldn't fully comprehend. I purchased my first toy online, a sleek little pink object that nestled perfectly in my hand, igniting sensations I had never experienced before. Initially, I utilized it merely once a week. However, following that, it transformed into a nightly ritual, fervent and all-encompassing. I needed it in order to drift off to sleep. It turned into a habit as familiar as the daily ritual of brushing my teeth. My teeth grind as if I'm attempting to satisfy an unending craving. My entire being remains taut, yearning for liberation until I ultimately achieve it only after I've truly experienced it. At times, I remind myself that it's merely a habit. Yet, beneath the surface, I understand it's something much more significant. I created this hidden realm shrouded in enigma, akin to an eerie ceremony with gentle melodies, murmuring shadows dancing from dim lights free from interruptions to disrupt the atmosphere. It's merely I enveloped in that exhilarating whirlwind coursing through my being, my thighs. I am fully aware of the precise spots to caress, the appropriate amount of pressure to apply, and the perfect movements of my body. I inhaled sharply, pressed my face into the pillow, the noise heavy with unspoken desire. I labor diligently. I share whispers of secrets that remain unvoiced. And when it comes to an end, I remain there enveloped in a profound stillness, experiencing a blend of contentment and a touch of regret. A profound solitude envelops me. I concealed everything deep within a secret, shrouded in the darkness of my heart. I was unable to accomplish it. The secret gnawed at me from within. All was serene until chaos erupted the moment he stepped through the door. Maddox is his name. He's the one who has captured my mom's heart. She encountered him on a dating app, and within a matter of weeks, he found himself at our home, lounging on our couch, sipping from our mugs as if he were one of us. Initially, the idea turned my stomach. The thought of allowing an unfamiliar person into our lives sent shivers down my spine, particularly regarding he was encroaching on my personal space, yet I found myself looking at him. Maddox defied all my expectations. He exuded a commanding aura enveloped in an enigmatic, perilous energy. Not frightening precisely, more akin to the sort of peril that strikes unexpectedly, leaving your legs trembling in an instant. He stood tall and imposing, his shoulders bearing an immense burden, a voice that resonated like a storm, and a jawline so defined it seemed capable of slicing through anything. The atmosphere enveloping him was dense with an unidentifiable essence. His salt and pepper hair exuded a mysterious aura reminiscent of a brooding laid in a steamy, forbidden romance film. His arms were remarkable, powerful, as if they bore the weight of the world, veins protruding, igniting a whirlwind of thoughts that drew me further into a tangle of doubt. I observed him from the shadowy recess of the hallway while he exercised in the garage, each motion brimming with unrefined power. Shirt cast aside, perspiration cascading down. Beads of perspiration cascade down, muscles coiling with intensity, poised to unleash their strength. Deep within, I was aware of the potential outcomes. Yet an undeniable force drew me closer. As the night enveloped me in my familiar routine, memories of him began to surface, igniting a whirlwind of emotions. His arms embraced me firmly, akin to a substantial force bearing down. His calloused hands clasped my waist, igniting a jolt within me. His voice, a shadowy murmur, brimmed with alluring mysteries that sent shivers down my spine. A chill coursed through me. My small pink vibrator began to evoke memories of him feeling larger, more powerful, and more exhilarating. Then that night arrived, the one where my thoughts became hazy and ventured into something more daring, and everything transformed for eternity. I found myself completely immersed in it. My legs remained motionless, uncertain of what would unfold next, suspended in the air. The toy, typically a source of solace that aids my slumber at night. With my eyes closed firmly, I sensed my spine curve in a frantic stretch. His name escaped my lips. With my lips barely moving, I whispered breathlessly. The instant that name escaped my lips, it struck me. Maddox. Shrouded in mist, the door's creak went unnoticed by me. At that moment, I gradually lifted my eyelids. He stood there, a silhouette in the dim glow, the atmosphere thick with unspoken words and an overwhelming tension. Positioned in my threshold, observing me intently. What's even more frustrating, I persevered, refusing to yield. The atmosphere shifted dramatically, sending a shiver through me, igniting a desire for more. Maddox stood there, clutching the doorframe as if he were battling a tempest brewing within him. His gaze fixed on me so powerful it seemed nearly tangible, nearly within reach. I held my gaze steady. Perhaps I ought to have. Perhaps I ought to have simply walked away, acted as if it were all just an error. However, I did not. I was unable to. My body betrayed me as I continued to move the vibrator, the buzzing thrumming through me like a surge of electricity igniting a torrent of emotions overwhelmed me. My heart raced with such intensity that I could sense it in my throat. Each breath felt like a struggle, my chest heaving with anxious energy. Yet it was his eyes, those mesmerizing, profound gray eyes, that truly left me breathless. They possessed a profound yearning far beyond mere curiosity. It exceeded my expectations, leaving me in a state of shock and vulnerability. I steeled myself, prepared to feel a wave of humiliation wash over me. Shame enveloped me like a dense fog. Yet what surged within was more than mere emotion. It was a foreboding, an intuition that something ominous lay ahead. My entire body tensed, and then a powerful, overwhelming sensation surged between my legs, more intense than anything I had ever experienced. Maddox stepped forward, his imposing silhouette casting a shadow over the corridor's illumination. We found ourselves enveloped in silence, yet the rapid rise and fall of his chest mirrored my own, quietly revealing the tempest that brewed between us. He was engaged in a struggle within, and I could sense it distinctly. You, my voice trembled, burdened by the heaviness of unspoken words rendering me silent. This is not the ultimate destination. He remained silent, the atmosphere heavy with tension between us. Instead, he merely observed me, his gaze fixed on the motion of my fingers, and that's when it dawned on me. I hadn't even paused to catch my breath. I continued driving the toy in further, sensing it throb against me as if I were beckoning him nearer. Suddenly, the burden of it all overwhelmed me. What on earth was I thinking? This man was my stepfather. This must be an error, wouldn't you agree? However, I remained motionless. I longed for the electric thrill, the exhilarating risk of his presence, even if it was merely through his gaze. I felt as if I were a bow drawn taut on the verge of breaking from the pressure. I inhaled sharply, my body freezing as I approached the brink. Suddenly, Maddox's voice shattered the stillness. "Tell me to go, Sloane." he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "Just say the word, and I'll go." My breath caught in my throat. The atmosphere was heavy with stillness. His question loomed over me, a heavy burden I couldn't shake off. He was presenting me with an escape, an opportunity to liberate myself from the suffocating hold of my circumstances. He was entrusting me with control. Yet for reasons I couldn't fully grasp, I found myself unprepared to accept it. I fought to regain my breath, my fingers lingering on the toy as it glided across my skin. Yet my thoughts drifted far from the present. All eyes were on him. Concerned for Maddox, I gradually raised my gaze to meet his, the atmosphere heavy with unspoken words. Expressions. That was the precise instant I laid eyes on it. Their hunger mirrors the one gnawing at me from within, an unyielding, shadowy desire that clings to your very essence. I murmured, my voice trembling, "I don't want you to go," scarcely piercing the stillness. His expression grew somber, as if a tempest were brewing within him. His lips trembled on the verge of uttering a word. Yet silence enveloped him as if it were a comforting blanket. He approached each step, deliberate, and waited until he was positioned directly beside my bed. His aroma enveloped me, mesmerizing. A blend of musk and earth awakened a profound sensation within me. In that fleeting instant, a spark ignited inside me, and I found the courage to wish he would extend his hand, his fingers grazing my skin ever so lightly. I paused, longing for him to draw me closer and complete what I had begun. Yet he halted mere inches apart, the atmosphere heavy with unspoken thoughts. We were so close that his warmth enveloped me, heat emanating from him like a vibrant flame. His gaze fixed on me, weighty and penetrating, as if I could extend my hand and make contact with it. Weight bore down upon my flesh. A sudden surge of unease enveloped me, causing me to writhe in the sheets, the overwhelming pressure within me nearly unbearable. "Sloane." His voice trembled, scarcely rising above a whisper, heavy with emotions he dared not express. "Are you truly certain about this?" Uncertainty struck me fiercely, shrouding my thoughts. Yet my mind was consumed by an overwhelming urge to agree. Indeed, I exhaled my hand, continuing its journey, pursuing the solace that seemed just beyond my grasp. Beyond grasp. Absolutely certain. In that moment, he shattered all my expectations with his final move. Drawing in a calm breath, he clutched the edge of his shirt, the material clinging to his skin. With deliberate care, he removed it, revealing the strain that lay beneath. With each movement, his abs tightened and defined, showcasing their strength as he cast the shirt aside, a moment brimming with intensity. My gaze traced the ink inscribed upon his skin. Every tattoo enhanced his aura of danger, amplifying his irresistible charm. However, it was more than just the ink or the strength. This intense, unmistakable force seized you completely. Each action he took was precise. He commanded the room effortlessly, an aura so powerful that it captivated every gaze and stilled every breath. I found myself utterly helpless, ensnared in this enchanting allure. The thought of him near me, his body entwined with mine, ignited my imagination, envisioning the intense desire we could experience together. He turned his gaze towards me, his gray eyes radiating a heat that struck me deep in the gut. A shiver coursed through me as I repeated the question. "Are you certain?" This time I acted without hesitation. I simply took the plunge. "Absolutely, Maddox. I'm confident." At that moment, all that we understood began to unravel. The weight of the moment bore down on me as I realized I was teetering on a perilous brink. I was fully aware of the consequences that awaited me. In that weighty, charged moment, my mind was solely occupied with thoughts of him. How desperately I longed for his presence. Some moments in life simply exist in that way. Indelible, etched in the fabric of time, forever lingering in our thoughts. Instances that transform everything with a single thrilling contact. This belonged to me. Maddox stood there bare-chested, his breath quickening as if he were engaged in a fierce struggle within. I stood still. Heat surged through my neck, not from longing, but from an unexpected wave of embarrassment. Had he truly witnessed everything? My heart raced fiercely when our gazes locked. Yet those deep gray eyes revealed a sorrowful reality. They had succumbed to despair, and gradually, so, was I truly ensnared in the intricate tapestry of destiny? He leaned in, and I felt my breath hitch, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. My heart raced fiercely, its rhythm echoing in my ears as if he could sense the turmoil within me. Then his hand moved slowly and unsteadily, softly sweeping a strand of hair away from my cheek. His fingers lingered as if time had frozen, sending a shiver down my spine. My skin yearned for something beyond. I desired for him to take me to. He desired me entirely. But he was taking his time, as if he wanted me to endure every excruciating moment of what was unfolding. It felt as though he was playfully provoking the desires I had concealed for weeks. Maddox, I murmured, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper in the thick stillness. Feel me. Not a single word escaped his lips. Instead, he perched on the edge of the bed, his gaze fixed on mine, a palpable, unspoken tension lingering in the air between us. His hand slid down my thigh, every touch igniting a blaze within me as he was committing to memory each curve, every hidden detail of me. I bit my lip, leaning into his touch, yearning for more as his fingers grazed the waistband of my panties. Time appeared to stand still, an oppressive quiet enveloping us. If you wish for me to cease now is the moment, he stated. Yet halting was the very last thing I desired. I wouldn't if I were you, I warned him. With unwavering resolve, he yanked the fabric aside, his gaze fixed on me with a burning intensity that sent shivers coursing through my body. I felt utterly engulfed. His gaze left me feeling utterly vulnerable, stripped of all defenses and completely open. It felt as if he could peer directly into my soul, uncovering every thought, every urgent desire, every hidden secret I had been striving to conceal. His fingers glided over my sensitive skin, causing me to gasp, my legs trembling from his touch. He leaned in, his lips nearly grazing my ear, sending shivers coursing through me. You've been pondering this endlessly, haven't you? He murmured, his voice scarcely perceptible, brimming with a sense of urgency washed over me. Indeed, I inhaled deeply. Each evening, as shadows enveloped the world, the intensity between us heightened, a wild energy crackling in the atmosphere. He lingered nearby, delving into my being as if he aimed to etch every subtle response, every breathless sound, every tremor into his memory. Then I beheld it. He rose, the sound of his belt unfastening, shattering the oppressive quiet. His trousers fell to the ground, and my heart raced as I gazed, completely taken aback. My heart raced, ensnared in this electrifying moment. He was much larger than I had ever imagined, dense, weighty, formidable. In that fleeting moment, everything came to a standstill, and I found myself unable to budge. This moment had played out in my mind countless times, yet with its reality settling in a wave of uncertainty washed over me. Am I truly capable of handling him? He noticed the uncertainty in my gaze, drew closer, and pressed his lips against my neck. His voice was deep and gravelly, providing solace. I'll be gentle, he murmured, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. His voice was gentle, but I need you to truly understand me here. And I did, without hesitation, the gravity of my choice pressing down on us, time pausing for just an instant. He glided between my legs, one hand anchoring himself, while the other tenderly cradled my face. His gaze captured mine as he advanced with deliberate slowness and caution. I inhaled sharply. The stretch was challenging, pushing me to my boundaries. My body tightened with eager expectation. "Take it easy, darling," he murmured, his thumb continuing to glide over my skin, lips igniting a wave of exhilaration. "Please open the door for me." I poured all my effort into it. I shut my eyes, absorbing his voice and the heat of his caress. With each deliberate motion, he ventured further than I ever imagined possible. A forlorn sound escaped, betraying my internal conflict. The ache lingered, intertwined with a fierce delight, enveloped in a firm, electrifying embrace, piercing yet extraordinary as he filled me entirely. We paused. His breaths came in deep, weighted gasps, thick with unvoiced strain. "You feel incredible," he murmured, his voice heavy with longing. I held on to him fiercely, my nails pressing into his back as he started to shift. Gradual, profound motions. Each shift coursed through me, igniting a tempest of emotions. I experienced a sense of being inundated, extended, entirely engrossed. It was utterly misguided. All aspects of it were shrouded in secrecy. Yet it struck a deep, undeniable truth. His lips crashed into mine, brimming with urgent desire, and he seized my hips, drawing me nearer with each powerful thrust. The headboard struck the wall repeatedly, causing the room to feel increasingly cramped and stifling. "Maddox, I can't." I breathed, my words faltering. "Release it," he murmured gently. "I desire to sense your arrival." And I did, without hesitation, aware that this decision would linger weightily in the silence that followed. My body tightened then. A surge of warmth and ecstasy enveloped me, taking my breath away. I cried out, holding on to him as if I were on the brink of vanishing. He inched nearer, his hold firming, a deep sound vibrating against my neck. As it came to an end, we fell into one another, utterly breathless and consumed by emotion. Our breaths came in sharp, quick bursts, our bodies entwined in a fervent, passionate dance. Our thoughts whirled in a tempest. The silence enveloped us, dense and palpable, as we remained motionless in that moment. Words lodged in our throats as we both understood precisely what was unfolding. We had reached the threshold from which there was no turning back. It all began with my vibrator precisely at that instant. The night stretched endlessly in his absence. Maddox, my stepfather. Merely uttering his name sent my heart into a frenzy. What we did ought to have filled me with shame, yet rather than experiencing fulfillment, I found myself burdened by an insatiable desire. Whenever he strolled past, the resonance of his deep voice reached my ears. As his voice floated in from the adjacent room, an intense longing for him surged within me. I desired him intensely, and that sensation simply lingered on. Following that evening, we were both aware that a shift had occurred in our relationship. In the days that ensued, our touches grew intentional, imbued with significance we left unspoken. Our gazes remained fixed, brimming with all the truths we dared not confess. We discovered hidden paths to escape together, maneuvering around my mom like two lovers entangled in a daring adventure. Yet it never truly seemed like a game in any way. The game was a battle for survival. Maddox began to slip into my room under the cloak of darkness. The stillness enveloped everything. One must exercise caution. At times, he would simply rest beside me, his large hand gradually moving up my thigh while I feigned sleep. But as soon as his fingers discovered my hidden place, I would surrender entirely. Despite the danger, the nights continued to unfold. On certain evenings, he would enter silently, not uttering a single word. At other moments, he would rouse me from sleep with his soft, alluring whispers, his form drawn near, pressing against me already ignited with longing. He enjoyed playfully provoking me. "What do you desire, my dear girl?" He'd inquire, his tone filled with urgency, and I'd whimper, longing for him. "You, Maddox. I need you." Each night spent with him intensified my fixation, pulling me further into this whirlwind of longing and turmoil. Another memory etched into my very being. He challenged my boundaries in a way no one else ever had. He filled me with a sense of vitality. He lingered with me profoundly, his presence lingering well into the following morning. However, it was not solely about the physical aspect. On those sultry, humid nights, he'd draw a steaming bath, his powerful hands exploring every curve of my body before drawing me near to the misty bathroom mirror, igniting a flame between us. On certain mornings, we would quietly slip into the garage, me perched atop the dryer, my heart racing, as he would unexpectedly lift my dress and take me, igniting a whirlwind of emotions. The intensity was staggering, nearly stifling. An atmosphere lingered in the air. It seemed entirely off, yet in that very moment it was just right. I have permanently set aside my vibrator. It wasn't that I didn't desire freedom, rather nothing could rival the irresistible attraction he held over me. I was captivated by his stature, enticed by his aroma, and enchanted by the deep rumble of his voice as he leaned in, enveloping me, possessing me entirely. One afternoon, I returned home sooner than I typically do and found him in the living room. The atmosphere was heavy with unease. The sheen of sweat on his chest was captivating, yet slightly disconcerting as he concentrated intently on his task. He had discarded his shirt, leaving the atmosphere electrified. He held my gaze completely. He glanced upward and gave a sly smile. "Are you already feeling my absence?" As I moved nearer, my purse fell from my grasp, my heart pounding in my chest. "You have no idea what's at stake." Suddenly, he drew me onto his lap, our lips colliding with urgent intensity. His warmth radiated beneath me. I leaned closer to him, filled with longing, my voice soft and barely audible. "Bring me to this moment, this very instant." On that day, I found myself on the couch, enveloped in a whirlwind of emotions as I leaned into him, my breath hitching with each movement, his hands clasping my waist with such intensity that it felt as though I was the focal point of his entire existence. A snapshot in time where everything else faded away. The stillness enveloped the space. The garage door remained closed, exuding an eerie vibe that kept us on high alert. My heart raced, trapped in the tension between quiet and clamor. My mom, Maddox, pulled me away from him and draped a blanket over us as I rushed to adjust my dress. We lingered in that moment, hearts racing, cheeks warm, teetering on the brink of discovery. On that day, we realized the extent of our recklessness. Yet neither of us could turn our backs. The peril didn't drive us away from each other, did it? It merely drew us nearer. Each clandestine gathering, each exhilarating evening, each risk only intensified the blaze. I once believed I was captivated by the device hidden beneath my bed, but now I understand that what I truly desired wasn't merely the sound of plastic. It was the thrill of being desired, the illusion of power. His fragrance lingers long after he has departed. As I shut my eyes, his presence lingers, a palpable weight against my skin. What terrifies me the most is the realization that he shares the same feelings. At times, it's not love that we find ourselves immersed in. It's the desire to experience emotions so profoundly that we neglect to question their authenticity. Indeed, I once believed that requiring someone was synonymous with loving them. The blaze within my heart, the pain coursing through my body, and the way my thoughts lingered on his fragrance were undeniable evidence of love. Yet obsession is a cunning thief. It gradually dismantles your defenses while feigning concern. It leads you to think that suffering is fervor and trepidation is thrill. In this stillness, he has departed from I now understand. True love doesn't consume you, it uplifts you. It keeps you grounded when the world is in turmoil. And if my experience with Maddox left me experiencing a void in the brightness of day, perhaps it was never truly love from the start.